precious, I'm here. Step away from the window and go back to sleep. Safe from pain and truth and choice.
Good afternoon, Patriots. It's good to see you out here. Hey, I'm not a silver-tongued devil like some of these politicians, so I needed to get some notes here, all right? Also, it keeps me from ranting. All right, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Barry for inviting me to come out here today. It's an honor to be out here with y'all. All right, my name is Sergeant Charles A. Dyer. Some of you know me as July4patriot on YouTube. And I'm an 8-year veteran of the Marine Corps. Actually, I'm active duty until July 27th. I'm on terminal leave right now. And I served for 1 year on the Stevens County Sheriff's Department at the jail. So that's a little background about me. Once again, I'm not silver-tongued. I'm just a Marine infantryman. Hoorah. All right. I am an Oath Keeper. And before I explain what exactly the Oath Keeper organization is, I'd like to first speak about the nature of what an oath is in general, all right? Webster's Dictionary defines an oath as a solemn, usually formal calling upon of God to witness the truth of what one says, or to witness that one sincerely intends to do what one says. It also defines it as a solemn attestation of the truth or inviolability of one's word. Put simply, an oath is a person's formal promise to actually do what they say they're going to do. Generally speaking, we use oaths when calling upon someone to fulfill an important purpose or to take on responsibility not normally required of every person. I, as all military members, take an oath, and we took an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. While many political offices require the similar oath, among public servants, only military and police actually have the training and means to truly fulfill this oath. But more importantly, we are the only ones that are not beholden to a political party or a candidate. We are only beholden to the Constitution and you, the people. We are the guardians of the Republic. Oath Keepers exist to remind current and veteran police officers and military service members of their oath to the U.S. Constitution and the restrictions of the Constitution, the restrictions that the Constitution places on the power and scope of governmental interference into the lives of its citizens. Even if you're not current or former military, you too can be an Oath Keeper and help us spread the message. As a member of the Oath Keepers, I pledge to be faithful to my oath. We also pledge not to do any of the following 10 things that's listed on the Oath Keeper website, which is oathkeepers.org. These are the orders that we refuse to obey. We will not obey orders to disarm the American people. We will not obey orders to conduct warrantless searches of the American people. We will not obey orders to detain American citizens as unlawful enemy combatants or subject them to military tribunal. We will not obey orders to impose martial law or a state of emergency on any state. We will not obey orders to invade or subjugate any state that asserts its sovereignty. We will not obey any order to blockade American cities, thus turning them into giant concentration camps. We will not obey any order to force American citizens into any form of detention camp under any pretext. We will not obey orders to assist or support the use of any foreign troops on U.S. soil against the American people to keep the peace or maintain control. We will not obey any orders to confiscate the property of the American people, including food or other essential supplies. We will not obey any orders which infringe on the right of the people to free speech, to peaceably assemble, or to petition their government for a redress of grievances. These are our 10 orders that we refuse to follow. You can read a full explanation of each order at oathkeepers.org. Although these orders don't cover every possible scenario, they do lay a guideline for us to follow against unconstitutional laws. I want to take a minute and speak to you about things that are going on around all of us right now that you may not be aware of because they're not receiving a lot of coverage, all right? One of these things is the violation of the Posse Comitatus Act. The events surrounding the Hurricane Karina aftermath are a perfect example of an out-of-control government. For months, U.S. military troops, as well as armed government contractors, patrolled the streets of New Orleans and surrounded areas. This is a direct violation of the law. They also took part in mass gun confiscations, including door-to-door searches for weapons in parts of the cities that wasn't even flooded. A natural disaster is not a legal reason to deny citizens their Second Amendment right. Nobody has a problem with the military rescuing people off the rooftops, but it's another thing entirely for them to be running armed patrols around the city. This is a job for the local and state police. Another disturbing trend is the ongoing urban warfare drills going on around in the country, where U.S. troops and sometimes even foreign troops actually occupy small U.S. cities for several days for training. We're told by the press that these drills are to prepare for the troops for jobs that they'll be doing overseas. But I personally take issue with that reasoning, because the streets of Fallujah have nothing in common with Main Street, USA. The military already has mock cities and towns to train in set up all over the United States. The only logical reason for them to train going door to door in America, practicing disarming people, is to actually do that one day here in America. The purpose for our armed forces is to project force somewhere else against foreign enemies. From the days of ancient Rome, it was against the law for Caesar to march the military under color of flag across the Rubicon River. And once that rule was broken, the Roman Republic was history. Caesar made himself emperor, and Rome was ruled by an emperor from then on. We must not let these drills continue. How do we put the military back on track? Since most of the military is under direct federal control, it starts with Congress. We must elect our representatives based upon their belief in the U.S. Constitution as it was written, not based upon some phony party affiliation or the false left versus right paradigm. For fixing our National Guard, we encourage electing state representatives and governors that will demand the sovereignty of the state's guard units from the federal government. A little known fact is that although the National Guard of a state can be deployed by that governor of the state, the federal government owns most, if not all, of the equipment that they have, including weapons and vehicles. Therefore, without the permission of the federal government, the state's guard can't even deploy. We must demand complete sovereignty of the state guard from direct federal government control. To keep our police local and not jackbooted government thugs, we must elect officials that aren't addicted to federal money. This money allows the government to decide how police departments are run. Any sheriff or police chief that dares not to follow the federal agenda risks losing millions. And in the end, the government doesn't have to pass laws to militarize the police. All that they have to do is threaten to take away the flow of money. This is only the very tip of the iceberg. If you start studying some of the unconstitutional acts that this government commits, you would be appalled. If we do not stand up to this tyranny, our republic is doomed. Everyone's so worried about staying politically correct or being labeled a right-wing extremist by the DHS. They're so worried that they're afraid to stand up. This is July 4th. This is the symbolic day when 56 men came together and signed the Declaration of Independence. These men did not care about political correctness. They stood up for freedom because it was the right thing to do. They stood up for freedom knowing that they were most likely signing their death warrants.